Hello. Welcome to the first part of the God's Gambit. At the beginning of this series, we see that our MC says, that day was ordinary and peaceful, like any other day. No one expected that. It would be a barrier appears. Peoples around him says, what? A terrorist attack? An earthquake? Last peaceful day ever. Everything in front of the MC disappears. He says, what? What is happening? People around him says, my head? An earthquake? Or was that a terrorist attack? MC thinks, dimensional transportation? The other world? Is what I always read about in web novels and webtoons really happening to me right now? A system window appears in front of everyone. System says, the game has begun, please throw your dice. Game, dice? What is it talking about? They says, over there. What's that? Something really big appears above the city. MC thinks, is that?
Dice,
It rolls 3. System says, pawn number 8 moving 3 spaces. City starts to move. Everyone is really scared. MC thinks, I see. We've been summoned to a game. Except we're not players. We are this game's pawns. I assume the player is the being that threw the dice. We're no. This city is just a pawn. The player chose. But if the player needed a pawn, they could have just summoned this city. What was the reason why we were summoned along with it too? System says, you have arrived at a defense space. Setting difficulty and defense time, please throw your dice. The difficulty is level 1. Defense time is 3 days. Summoning map. A forest appears right beside the city. They say, what? The ground came up? What the hell's going on? System says, defense mission will begin soon. If all 4 bases are destroyed, it will count as game over. In case of game over, the pawn will D. Everyone gets scared and says, what? Then what about us? What the hell is all this nonsense? Take us back, stop. MC thinks, there's no need. If communication was necessary, I'm sure they would have talked to us from the start. The best we can do right now is to focus on these announcements. Everyone get a dice and system says, please throw your dice, citizens. 100 mythical class. 99 to 95 legendary class, 94 to 81 heroic class, 80 to 61 magical class, 60 to 1 ordinary class. Items are being provided. A dice with 100 faces? Someone says, something's approaching. I don't think it's rescue team. Those are monsters. A lot of monster come from the forest. Everyone starts to run. One of them monster appears behind MC. MC gets hit in the head. He thinks, I see. This is why humans were needed. A force to protect the pawn. We need to protect the pawn city in order to keep moving toward the goal. A dice game of beings that may be gods or demons. Someone with fire wings and spears appears. A fire tornado appears. People around are watching, they say. The monsters were all killed in just an instant. Who is that? She is Go Hija level 1. Class ordinary citizen. Weapon. Empirical Flame Dragon Prominences K9. Legendary Class Spear. Allows the user to borrow the power of the Empirical Flame Dragon. Go Hiju says, all those injured, run to the Nomsen Tower. The military and police are forming a defense line. And roll your dice as soon as possible. They all bring out their dice. They roll their dices. And say, if you roll your dice, it will turn into equipment according to the number you roll. Fall back if you get an ordinary class equipment. And those who get above magical class equipment, help me. And those who get above magical class equipment, help me. It's just as that person said. I don't know what's happening. Let's do as she said. Everyone, raise your weapons. MC says, that day, we lost our ordinary lives and began living very extraordinary lives. The first day of the new year, countless people died and heroes were born. MC name is Choi Yul, and he is level 1, class ordinary citizen. And here, on the 8th pawn, MC rolls the dice. He rolls 100. He says, I became the strongest. Soon to be called the worst ever garbage by others. He gets a book. System says, magic text. Demon King of Sovereignty Krasina's book, mythical class magic text. Permission to use the library of the Demon King Krasina, who desires for everything and anything. Allows the user to look at all kinds of information, such as item location, hidden events, monster information, map, and jail when a mission begins. However, Christina is an incarnation of monopolistic desire, so all of the rewards that the survivors earn from knowledge taken from this text will go to the owner of the Christina's book. After that, we see 3 hours into the defense mission. 3,102 deaths, 7,023 injuries. One base was destroyed. Go Haiju says, "Is it over?" Everyone is really happy and says, "We lived. Let's go. We won." This is the Korean army. Those who are injured or are civilians, please get in the truck. We'll evacuate you to Namsan Tower. You've worked hard, Haiju. Haiju says, "It's nothing." Kwon Jae-young, level 1, class normal civilian. He says, "Thanks to you buying us time. The army and the police were able to organize and are now being dispatched to different places." He gets a helmet. Cult Inquisitor Helden's helmet, hero rank helmet. Due to an iron faith, the user does not fall into a state of confusion, fear, or bewilderment. Haiju says, "Then is it all over now?" Kwon Jae-young says, "Phone calls and the internet all don't work, so it's hard to judge the situation. We're using shortwave radios to establish communications. We will soon receive situation reports from each place. Let's go to Namsan Tower for now." She says, "Okay." Choyol says, "No, it's not over yet. The boss monster is going to come soon. It is written in this book. The mission information, monster data, and the current progress state. Everything." He shows them. They says, "It's a blank paper. I don't see anything." Choyol says, "What?" Haiju says, "Is it a manual that only that guy can see?" Kwon Jae-young says, "I think it's more of a data book." He thinks, if that's true, then that item is very overpowered. Information is the same as power. Can you give us more information? I need proof of that book's contents. He says, then. Helden's helmet is a hero rank helmet and is one item of a 6-item set. The user is Sergeant Kwon Jae-young. You have 21 days left until you are discharged. And Go Haiju. You have a legendary rank weapon called Empirical Flame Dragon Prominence's K9. Surprisingly, your favorite song to sing at karaoke is Chilgat Mountain. She says, "Stop. It even contains personal information. It must be real." Kwon Jae-young says, "I agree. That book must really be a data book. If SE, it must be true that a boss monster is coming. We have confirmed the item's abilities. I'll contact HQ, so please wait for a bit." He says, "Okay. I think of this occasionally. If this world was a game, I'd probably be a bug character, right? Because this world's problems are all too easy for me. That's why they made me like this, so that I can't go out into the world. As if the operator found a bug and isolated me. If the day comes when I can go out into the world, then someone calls him." He says, "Yes, yes." Kwon Jae-young says, "I've received permission from HQ. It's a gamble for us, but it was decided that we don't have another plan, nor do we have the time to lose. We have decided to trust your data. Please provide the most information and countermeasures as possible." Choyol says, "Yes. Mic test. Can you hear me? I will be talking about the defense mission from now on. This is a defense mission where we need to protect the base from the waves of monsters. They come every 6 hours. And at the end of each wave comes the wave boss. Boss monster Twin Heads Ogre. Difficulty 1. Uses close combat and magic at the same time." Choyol says, "So we win if we protect the base 4 times a day, 12 times in 3 days, and defeat the wave boss. I have all of the info on this mission. If we use this information and strategize together, we could definitely survive. And afterwards, I will look for a method to go back to our original world." Kwon Jae-young says, "This person isn't just thinking about this mission, but what will happen afterwards too." Choyol says, "Okay, then. I'll begin." Future Choyol thinks, "I should have double-checked back then what I couldn't see while I was unconscious." The item information on Book Christina monopolizes all of the rewards of those with whom the information was shared. And the scope of shared doesn't just include the people who heard the information directly from me. It also includes all the people who hear from others, hear rumors, and such. Any and all information that starts with me. After that, we see they start to fight the twin-headed orc. They fight according to Choi Yul's instructions. They easily defeat the boss monster. Haiju ears turn yellow, and her eyes turn red. They both give each other thumbs up. Demon King of Sovereignty, Christina. Pawn 8 total population, 193,256. Recorded sacrifices of sovereignty, 176,542. 91% of the population were recorded as sacrifices in one day, and that was the start of my sins, which would continue until the last moment of this game. Choyul says, a defense mission is kind of like a defense game. Monsters move toward the bases they have to destroy, and players produce forces to stop the monsters. Choyul says, now, first, fire at the monsters with long-range weapons that can attack over a wide area. While the first weapons used are on cooldown, start a second wave of attacks using other long-range weapons. Monsters of difficulty level 1 are not intelligent. They says, the barrage is too light. Don't spare your ammo. We can lure them into going the direction we want. Injure them the most we can, and the monsters will split up. Then we'll have parties made up of people with higher levels of equipment. Kill those monsters. Choyul says, maintain the status quo here. The locations where they need more people. This Christina's book updates in real time. All the information about the current situation. Choyul thinks, if I just think of the information I want to see and flip over a page, the information automatically shows up. I can do it. If I have this, I can do it. That equipment is good for range support. Yes, stand by over there, please. There will be monsters coming from the left alleyway in 30 seconds. Yes, that's right. I, along with everybody else, can survive. They are easily killing the monster, Quan says. Situation over. Third squad. Inspect the area. They say, yes, sir. Report the situation to Choyul. Quan thinks, at first the commanding headquarters had the final say after considering what Choyul suggested, but now it's like Choyul himself is commanding. He said there's only data in that book. Then is it just his ability to command over the entire city? Or is that also that book's ability? He says, Sergeant Quan? Quan says, what is it? Choyul says, it's almost over now. Quan says, is the last wave's boss coming? Choyul says, yes, but don't worry. Haiju will end it in one go. Another boss monster appears and says, Billy the Giant difficulty 1. A giant that was born weak and therefore abandoned by his kind. Very large but lacking in combat power. Haiju wakes up. Choyul says, you're up. She says, what didn't you do to wake me up? Quan says, we've just run out of flares too. They are barely dodging the boss monster's attack. She says, what the hell? Quan says, that's why we're out here. The bases will be destroyed in the blink of an eye if we go into the city. What a relief is that its movement speed is really slow, and it's not really resistant against any element. So we can win against it if we just rain down attacks. She says, but we're the only ones here. Choyul says, not us. Just you. The boss monster is getting closer to them. She says, what should I do? Choyul says, there is a hidden feature in items that are above heroic rank. If you fulfill certain conditions, its shape can change, or a hidden skill will be activated. In order to figure out that feature, we need to fulfill those conditions. But this book tells me all of the conditions for all items. She says, you're sure, right? He says, trust me in this book. I'm certain. She says, I don't feel good about this, but I trust you. She stabs herself in the stomach. Boss monster hits her with a really powerful attack. Choyul says, she's fine. All the conditions have been fulfilled. System says, activating the hidden skill of Prominence's K9. Summon the Empirical Flame Dragon Prominence. Once per mission. Quan thinks, this skill would have been really bad if we were in the city. No, what's more dangerous than that skill is? Choyul's book. There is way too much dangerous information. If used wrong, it could lead to the downfall of this city. I guess it's a good thing someone like him is in possession of the book. System says, you have completed the defense mission. Citizens outside the city will be moved back inside. They all get teleported back inside the city. System says, rewards will be given to surviving citizens. They all start to cheer for Choyul and go Haiju. System says, common reward. Mission clear plus 300 points. Bases destroyed 1 out of 4 minus 25%. Total 225 points. System says individual reward, monster raid contribution rate, base defense contribution rate, wave boss fight contribution rate will be given out after calculation. Everyone sees that and says, rewards? It really is like a game. Point shop is now open. Everyone is really happy that they are alive. They open a healing shop. There are 3 options. 1 healing 10 points. Heals all injuries. Purification 10 points. Purifies all status abnormalities. Regeneration 20 points. Regenerates amputated body parts. Everyone, pick healing first. Phew. Now the injured will be fine too. Quan and Heiju says, why are all the points? System says, rewarded points 0. All rewards have been taken away due to the effect of sacrifice of sovereignty. Possessed points 0. They say, what? You're joking. There are no points. What the hell is the sacrifice of sovereignty? Give me the points, people are dying here. Choi yell, what's happening? I don't know either. What is this? System says, sacrifice of sovereignty. Sacrifice 10% of the citizens. Rewards will be doubled. Sacrifice 20% of the citizens. Rewards will be tripled. Sacrifice 90% of the citizens. Rewards will be increased 100 times. Calculating points. Announcement of the mission's most point earnings. Third SEO Yoonseok, 312 points. Second Kong Sungwon 1402 points. First Choi Yul 9,968,844,850 points. Everyone gets really angry on Choi Yul. He says, what the hell? Why do you have so many points? Calm down. I bet that sacrifice of sovereignty or whatever was you're doing too. Yeah, you did it to take all the points. Choi Yul says, that's not true. I didn't know it had such a feature. I'm serious. Quan says, calm down. We need to treat the injured first. I think points can be traded or given out. So can you share them amongst the people? Unless you took those points on purpose. Choi Yul says, yes. Of course. System says, the Demon King's monopolistic desire. Crossing denies sharing or donation of items and points. They start to call him a villain. Choi says, what the hell kind of skill is this? They say, give us our points right now. He thinks, then if I buy healing items and share it with the people. System says, the Demon King's monopolistic desire. Christina denies sharing or donation of items and points. Choi says, what the hell, Haijinim? Burn this thing. She burns it. Choi Yul says, it's fine. We threw the book away, so this must. Book gets back together. Choi says, damn it. Heiju says, Choi Yul. Everyone is really angry and says, 10 points. Just give me 10 points. Please. Don't die, Hyung. They said, I trusted that bastard. Where's that Choi Yul bastard? I'm gonna kill him.
No.
Please. Sergeant Quan. The death tolls are rising. The citizens are enraged. Choi Yul looks at the book and says, there must be a way. Something. Quan puts big gun on Choi's head and says, this is for the best. The first part of the God's Gambit in. Hello. Welcome to the second part of the God's Gambit. At the beginning of this part we see that. Quan says, Choi Yul Nim, you're under arrest. Other players say, arrest, my ass. Make him give up all the rewards. Yeah, kill that fraud. Heiju says, calm down. Quan says to Choi Yul, run away. Get out of here and find a way to fix all this. That's the best we've got right now. Go. They say, that bastard's trying to do something. Stop him. Choi Yul puts a lot of points on agility. Choi Yul disappears. They say, he ran away. What the hell? Everyone receives a message saying time remaining until the next turn is 23 hours 59 minutes 59 seconds. Everyone gets really scared and says, 24 hours? Why is it so short?
No.
Quan says, move to the safe areas. Hurry. Take the injured to the cars. This way. They say, those who are willing to fight, please go to the left. And those who want to evacuate, please go to the right. Please check your status windows frequently and do not leave the evacuation center. Memorize the locations of the temporary bases and the other evacuation centers too. Also, Run away immediately if you spot Choi Yul. Tell us his location, and cover your ears and run away as fast as you can. If you hear any advice from him about the raid, please isolate yourself until the mission is over. If you've become a sacrifice of sovereignty but hid it from the public, we will consider it a violation of the law and punish you accordingly. After that, we see Kwon and some other soldiers are planning something. Haeju is exercising. After that, system says, a new turn has begun. Player, please throw your die. System says, pawn number 8 is moving 4 spaces. You have arrived in the Demon King seal space. Demonic pillars to undo the seal and pillar guardians will appear. Destroy all demonic pillars. The demonic king will be summoned if you do not destroy all pillars within the given time. Setting mission time. Setting the number of pillars. Setting the pillar guardians difficulty. The mission duration is 5 days. There are 3 pillars. The pillar guardians difficulty is level 1. Pillar guardian.
Vaterless fallen Angel Difficulty 1.
A fallen angel that wanders around looking for his lost fate. The second pillar guardian's difficulty is level 1.
Pillar Guardian Medbrains.
Difficulty 1. A being that cannot stop creating things. The more time passes, the better its creations are. The third pillar guardian's difficulty is level 3. Goblin Swordmaster Jack. Difficulty 3. A goblin swordsman that has reached the peak of martial arts and gone through body transformation. He is trying to undo the seal of the Demon King to challenge him. After that, we see that Choi Yul is lying in a magic circle. There are a lot of papers around. He smiles. After that, we see Kwon is talking to someone on the radio. They say, the civilians have begun attacking. We tried to stop them, but they're uncontrollable. Kwon says, we should get moving too. What about you, Haeju? She left a while ago. Kwon thinks, what a mess. The perfect system and cooperation fell in just a day. She is standing in front of the goblin swordsman. She gets ready to fight and says, a pillar guardian of difficulty 3. She jumps toward the goblin swordsman and thinks, before anyone dies, I'll kill it. Goblin swordsman easily blocks her attacks. Goblin swordsman hits her with a simple but really powerful swing of his sword. Choi Yul saves her in time. She is really surprised and says, Choi Yul, you're back. He says, can you tell the people? She says, what? All your rewards. I will use them all for myself. She is really surprised and says, what? Are you serious? Choi Yul says, tell them to never appear in front of me again if they don't want their rewards stolen. She says, Choi Yul. Choi Yul brings out the demon book. He thinks, there wasn't a way to give the people their rewards back, nor escape from this damn Demon King book. Purchase stats using points. System says, opening stats shop. Their level will increase by 1 per 1 stat. He has 30 points in agility. System says, please say the stat and the number you would like to increase it by. Choi Yul says, all stats to the max. A lot of system messages appear in front of everyone. Citizen Choi Yul is the first to reach stamina 100, max. Citizen Choi Yul is the first to reach intellect 100, max.
Wisdom 100 maximaal. Agility 100 maximaal.
Health 100 max.
Luck 100 maximaal.
He thinks, how many equipment dice did I get? System says, 423,512 total. He says, get rid of everything under magical class, automatically roll everything that'll give equipment above heroic class. Legendary class equipment 142. Heroic class equipment 1023. Marking all equipment obtained. Choi Yul thinks, I'll use this to my advantage since I can't get rid of it. All the bloodied rewards and the Demon King's power. I'll protect this city in this damn game and go back to my original life. If that's the only way to atone for my sins, then I don't care if people call me all kinds of bad names. System says, Goblin Swordmaster Jack smiles and prepares to attack when he spots a strong enemy. Choi Yul says, sorry, but I don't have time to play with you right now. Choi Yul uses magic air shoes. Item window appears saying, magic air shoes. Heroic rank shoes. I believe I can fly. Lets the user jump and float at a force that makes it similar to flight. Can change directions midair and move around freely. Mana will be consumed continuously. Choi Yul flies really fast and says, I'll be back soon, so you just wait for me here. She says, "He's just leaving?" Jack sits back down. She is really surprised and says, "What? He's really just going to wait? Is this Pillar Guardian?" Choyul is flying really fast. He thinks Goblin Jack does not attack first. In other words, he won't attack as long as you don't attack him first. Choyul stomps on the face of the fallen angel. "So I have to fight the other Pillar Guardians first." Everyone is really angry at Choyul and says, "Choyul's back? And he used up all our points too? I knew it. Kill him." Choyul is really fast, and he destroys the Pillar Guardian. Choyul thinks a Pillar Guardian's unique trait will be unlocked if you fulfill a certain condition. There are some traits that add a weakness, but if you fulfill the wrong conditions, it'll become stronger, or a trait that's annoying to deal with will be unlocked. The moment this Pillar Guardian kills 100 humans, it'll evolve into a fallen angel that will slaughter all mankind. It'll become much stronger than before and leave the pillars to kill humans instead. He says, "I'll get rid of the Pillar Guardians with annoying possible traits like that first, and just unlock the traits that are necessary for the mission. The important thing isn't to clear the mission. It's how you clear the mission." Quan is coming there and talking to someone on the radio. Quan says, "Yes, please give an order to stay 500 meters away from the pillars until we're certain what Choyul's intentions are." He thinks, has he failed to find a way to give us back the rewards? Or has he just decided not to give it back to us? He didn't seem like a bad person, but I shouldn't make decisions based on just feelings. Someone as intelligent as him has all that power. He can dominate this entire city if he wants. Even Haiju, who I thought helped tone down Choyul, is uncontrollable. This mission, will we be able to clear it? Quan appears there. Something falls right beside his truck. His truck goes flying. They come out of the truck and say, "What was that?" Choyul has defeated the fallen angel, and he gets the angel's wings. System says, "Divine Divide Legendary Rank Sword." A fragment of a sword that once divided the heavens and earth and created the world, has lost most of its power. Trunks amputated parts of monsters into items. Quan says, "Choyul, you've defeated the Pillar Guardian. I was surprised to see you." Choyul fly away really fast. Quan thinks he's not talking. Is it because of the sacrifice of sovereignty? That means it looks like he doesn't have any bad intentions. Soldier says, "Sergeant Quan, the Pillar Guardian." Quan says, "Yeah. Tell the headquarters that it's been defeated." He says, "It's still alive." System says, "Condition to unload the special trait has been fulfilled. Remove the wings and halo of the fateless fallen angel."
Special trait unlocked. Corruption.
The fateless fallen angel transforms into another being. System says, "Corruption beast." Difficulty 2. A beast that has lost its faith and fell into sin. God no longer looks onto this being. Quan thinks, military life sure is. Other soldiers appear there and Quan says, "There are just 3 monsters in this mission. That means those 3 are as difficult as an entire raid. He's leaving that kind of monster for us to deal with?" Calling for support. Calling for support. Current location is. Angel starts to hit them. System says, S status abnormality fear. Lose the will to fight and run from the enemy. Quan lures the angel toward himself. He thinks, I need to lure it far away from them, at least until support gets here. Angel jumps toward Quan. Quan thinks, if I can hold on until then. Quan gets squashed under Angel's feet. Choyul thinks, that took care of one. Something releases a large amount of energy. System says, Helden's helmet. Hidden skill activation conditions have been fulfilled. When on the brink of death because of a dark corruption type attack, does not activate in case of death. When a leader of a party of more than 5 people, a flag appears in his hand. System says, skill activation Helden's ghost user gets possessed by the ghost of Helden, the heretic inquisitor. He says, the sword of the goddess to the demon. The goddess iron club to those who have fallen. Goddess iron. System says, duration 10 minutes. All equipment and skills will be imbued with divinity. Defense against the dark corruption element will be increased. Fanatic mode activated. Attack power, defense power, healing power will be increased. Fear, chaos, temptation will be nullified. Loses reason and attacks all dark, corruption-type monsters. To those who have fallen. The Iron Blub. He activates fanatic skills. All the soldiers are under its effect. Quan said, the Goddess Iron Club. To those who have fallen. The Iron Club. The Iron Club. The Iron Club. Choyil thinks, that's scarier than I expected. The second part of the God's Gambit ends here. Subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.